I'd like to talk about the Omega Speedmaster Professional Sapphire Sandwich. Now, this is a model that I have owned in the past. I've actually owned the prior generation and then this current generation. I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between the two. But this model is an aspirational model. I'm talking about the Moonwatch in general. You can include the standard variation in addition to this Sapphire Sandwich. But the Moonwatch is an aspirational model for a lot of watch collectors. Some watch collectors would consider it a grail level watch. Other watch collectors don't see it the same way. But it's a model that a lot of us, I think we can agree upon this, a lot of us want to try in some variation or another at some point in our watch collecting journey. And why is it? Is it just a great design? I don't think so. I think the design is good. I think the design is very legible, very simple. It's very straightforward. But no, I don't think it comes down to the design. I don't think it even necessarily comes down to the brand cachet that is associated with Omega. I think it comes down to the absolutely unbeatable history associated with the Speedmaster Professional. I'm talking about the Moonwatch. So let's unpack this real quick. You look at other sports pieces like the Submariner or the Santos or the Tank or the Reverso that have really cool history. The Pasha has really cool history, but I don't think any of them really can stand up to the Speedmaster being selected by NASA to be the flight instrument, to be the watch of choice on the astronaut's wrist, to be used in low Earth orbit and various missions, to be used by astronauts in the Apollo program, going to the moon, landing on the moon, and then returning safely to the Earth. This specific model was used, on another celestial body in our solar system, and it just doesn't get much cooler than that. So it kind of makes me think, hey, when we go back to the moon in 2 or 3 years from now, what watch is going to be on the astronauts' wrists as they, land on the moon and conduct experiments and whatnot? Is it going to be another Speedmaster? Is it going to be another model? I'm not sure yet. But anyways, this one here, the Speedmaster, it just doesn't get much cooler. The history is unbeatable when it comes to the Speedmaster. And I think that's the reason why so many of us want to buy into this watch and try this watch at some point in our collecting journey. Now, that being said, let's talk about this specific model. It is a little bit different from the prior 1861 or 1863 generation. Some positive, some negative. Let me touch on those differences, and I will drop the dimensions here on the screen so you guys can compare the two. The new one is slightly wider, just 0.2 millimeters wider, but it's noticeably shorter in the lug-to-lug dimension. And if you wear this on the bracelet, the effective lug-to-lug length is quite a bit shorter. And then we have a dramatic 5 millimeter taper. It's a little bit thinner than the prior gen, and that makes a difference on wrist. This watch is very comfortable. It disappears. I think if you have smaller wrists or larger wrists, you could easily pull this off, and it does have more of a vintage feel to it. The older gen, the 1861 or 1863, feels more solid. It feels more hefty. There is more stainless steel on that model, and you might be drawn toward that. A couple other differences. The dial is all different on the new coaxial version. It is a step dial. It has better lume. It has an applied logo. It has, obviously, the new bracelet, like I mentioned. And then it also has the dot over the 90 in your aluminum bezel insert. And it comes in a smaller, slightly less impressive presentation box, which I know some of you that watch me, you could care less about the packaging. And other watch collectors that view my channel, the packaging means a lot to you. So continuing, let's talk about the biggest change between the prior gen and this current gen, and that is the movement. It is still based on the Lamania, so 50 hours of power reserve. It's very similar in the architecture, but it does have some significant upgrades. This is a certified master chronometer, so it will be certified by the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology. It will go through 8 different tests. that tests the accuracy, it tests the water resistance, it tests the ability to withstand magnetic flux to a ridiculous threshold of 15,000 Gauss. It tests the accuracy in multiple positions, multiple temperatures, and multiple levels of power reserve in the movement. It's all done while the watch is cased. It is quite exhaustive. And so the fact that this 3861 coaxial movement is a certified master chronometer, I think is a big deal. So yes, I like the free-sprung balance. I like the silicone hairspring. I like the tasteful rhodium-plated finish. And if I had to compare it to the 1863, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I think the older one looks slightly better from a finish standpoint, but the two are very comparable. And I think on par with the retail price at $7,600. That being said, let's talk about another element that really draws the watch enthusiast in to the Speedmaster Professional, and that is the fact that this is an absolute strap monster. I think it kind of comes down to the simplicity of the design, just the black, the white, and the stainless steel. There is no other accent color. It's a clean slate. It's a good palette to play with. So take it off the bracelet if you wish. Put it on a NATO. Put it on, a nice leather strap. It looks great on almost any strap that you place on it. And so that's a very positive thing, I think, in the favor of the Speedmaster Professional. Now, this one being a Sapphire Sandwich, what that means is there is a boxed sapphire crystal on the top of the watch that carries inner anti-reflective coating, and then there will be a sapphire crystal on the reverse of the watch with the movement sandwiched between the two crystals. So I like this myself because I love to see a good hand wind movement. There is no rotor, obscuring the various components of the caliber. This is just very beautiful, very tasteful, and I like to see that. So on the whole, it's got unbeatable history. It has nice details. It's a very comfortable watch that should work on a wide range of wrists. I think, again, there is a lot of reasons why this specific model, why it's so popular and why a lot of watch collectors want to try this at some point. I definitely am in favor of that myself. So let me know if you have any specific questions. I would be more than happy to try to answer those questions. And if you are looking for any Omega, I'll place all my recommended links in the description of the video. Shout out to Exquisite Timepieces, the family on Brick and Mortar AD that lent this in for review. So again, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.